I'm standing in my own kitchen at 11:30 on a Tuesday night, reheating leftover meatloaf in the microwave, when my wife Nicole walks through the front door like she owns the world and I'm just renting space in it. She doesn't say hello, doesn't acknowledge the dog wagging his tail at her feet, just drops her designer purse on the counter, the one I bought her for Christmas last year when I still thought expensive gifts could buy back her affection, and starts scrolling through her phone with that look. You know the one. The look that says whatever's on that screen is infinitely more interesting than the man she married 13 years ago. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Long day at the office? I ask, because I'm still stupid enough to try. She glances up, and for a split second, I see something flicker across her face. Guilt? Annoyance? Hard to tell anymore. You wouldn't understand, she says, already looking back at her phone. It's complicated. Right. Complicated. That's Nicole's favorite word these days. Everything's complicated. Our marriage is complicated. Her job is complicated. Even deciding what to watch on Netflix has become complicated. I'm Grant Fowler, 39 years old, and I've been a paramedic for the past 15 years. I've pulled bodies out of mangled cars, performed CPR on overdosed teenagers, and held the hands of dying grandmothers while their families said goodbye. Trust me, I understand complicated, but apparently I don't understand whatever's going on in the sterile, air-conditioned world of Meridian Corporate Solutions, where Nicole works as an HR manager and makes twice what I do. The microwave beeps. I pull out my sad little dinner and sit down at our kitchen table, the same table where we used to eat breakfast together before she started leaving for work at 6 in the morning and coming home after I'd already eaten. There's leftover meatloaf if you want some, I offer. She wrinkles her nose like I just offered her roadkill. I ate already. Of course she did. She's been eating already a lot lately. Business dinners, she calls them. Team-building exercises. Client meetings that run late. I take a bite of meatloaf that tastes like cardboard and watch my wife text someone. Her fingers are flying across the screen, and she's got this little smile playing at the corners of her mouth. The same smile she used to give me when we were dating, and I'd send her stupid jokes during her lunch break. Who are you texting? I ask. The smile disappears. Work stuff. At almost midnight? She looks up, and now I see it clearly. Not guilt, not annoyance, contempt, pure, undiluted contempt. Some of us have careers that matter, Grant. Some of us are trying to build something bigger than just showing up and doing the same job for 15 years. The words hit like a physical blow. I set down my fork and stare at her, really stare at her. When did she become this person? When did the woman who used to brag about dating a real-life hero, her words, not mine, turn into someone who looked at me like I was something she'd scrape off her shoe? I save lives, Nicole. Every single day I go out there and I save lives. She laughs. Actually laughs. It's not a nice sound. You drive an ambulance, Grant. You're basically a taxi driver with a medical kit. I stand up so fast my chair scrapes against the floor. The dog, sensing tension, slinks out of the room with his tail between his legs. Smart dog. A taxi driver? Are you serious right now? Oh, please, don't get all dramatic. I'm just saying that some jobs require more skill, more intelligence, more what? She looks me up and down, taking in my rumpled uniform shirt, my work boots, the exhaustion I can't hide anymore. More everything. I walk toward her, not threateningly, just trying to close the distance that seems to grow wider every day. Nicole, what's happening to us? We used to be a team. I reach out to touch her face, the way I've done 1,000 times before. The way I did on our wedding day when she cried happy tears and told me she couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with me. She jerks away like my hand is on fire. Don't touch me. Don't touch you. I'm your husband. Are you? She's looking at her phone again, typing another message to whoever's keeping her so entertained. Because lately it feels more like I'm stuck with a roommate I never asked for. Something breaks inside me. Not snaps, breaks. Like a bone that's been stressed too long finally giving way. A roommate you never asked for? I bought this house. I pay half the mortgage. I take care of the dog. I do the grocery shopping. You do the bare minimum, Grant. You come home. You eat whatever I cook or whatever leftover crap is in the fridge. You watch TV and you go to bed. That's not a marriage. That's just existing. What do you want from me, Nicole? Tell me what you want, and I'll do it. She finally looks up from her phone, and the expression on her face makes me freeze. I want you to be someone else. The words hang in the air between us like smoke. I can't breathe, can't think, can't process what she just said. Someone else? Someone successful, someone ambitious, someone who doesn't come home smelling like other people's problems and expect me to pretend that's enough. I try one more time, one last desperate attempt to salvage whatever's left of us. I step closer, lean down, try to kiss her. She shoves me, hard enough that I stumble backward. You disgust me, she says, and her voice is flat, emotionless, like she's reading from a script. I'd rather kiss our dog than you. And that's it. That's the moment everything ends. I don't say anything else. Don't argue, don't plead, don't try to reason with her. I just walk upstairs, pack a bag with enough clothes for a few days, and come back down to the kitchen where she's still standing, still texting, still smiling at her phone. Come on, boy, I call to the dog. He appears immediately, tail wagging, happy to go anywhere as long as he's with me. At least somebody in this house still gives a damn. Nicole doesn't look up when I walk toward the door. Where are you going? She asks, like she's asking about the weather. Somewhere I'm wanted. I walk out into the rain, the dog trotting beside me, and I don't look back. Behind me, I can hear the faint sound of Nicole's phone buzzing with another message. I spend the night at the Riverside Motel, a place that's seen better decades but takes cash and doesn't ask questions. The dog curls up on the bed beside me and I lie awake staring at the water-stained ceiling, trying to figure out where everything went wrong. Was it gradual? Did Nicole's contempt build up over months, years, while I was too blind or too stubborn to see it? Or did it happen all at once, some switch flipping in her head that turned love into disgust? I think about calling in sick to work, but that's not who I am. Never has been. So at 5:30 in the morning, I drag myself out of bed, take a shower that alternates between scalding and freezing, and head to the station. You look like hell, says Tommy Reeves, my partner for the past 3 years. Tommy's one of those guys who says exactly what he's thinking, which makes him either the most honest person you'll ever meet or the most tactless. Probably both. Thanks for the pep talk. Seriously, what happened? You look like you got hit by a truck. I pour myself coffee from the pot that's been brewing since sometime during the Clinton administration and try to think of how to explain the implosion of my marriage in terms that won't make me sound completely pathetic. Nicole and I had a fight. Must have been some fight. She throw something at you? Just words. Tommy nods like he understands, which he probably does. He's been divorced twice and has the alimony payments to prove it. Women, he says, like that explains everything. Can't live with them, can't afford to live without them. We spend the day running calls, a fender bender on Highway 9 where nobody's seriously hurt but everyone's screaming like it's the end of the world. An elderly man having chest pains who turns out to be having an anxiety attack because his grandson hasn't called in 2 weeks. A construction worker who cut his hand on a piece of rebar and needs 12 stitches. Normal stuff. The kind of work that Nicole thinks any idiot with a driver's license could do. But here's what she doesn't understand. Every call matters. Every person we help, every life we save or comfort we provide. It adds up to something. It means something. When that old man grabbed my hand and said, "Thank you," after we got his heart rate back to normal. When the construction worker's wife showed up at the hospital and hugged me for taking care of her husband. That's not nothing. That's everything. By the time my shift ends, I've almost convinced myself that Nicole was just having a bad day. That whatever's been eating at her lately, we can work through it. We're adults. We love each other. We can figure this out. I drive home planning what I'll say, how I'll apologize for whatever part I played in our fight, how we can start over. The house is dark when I pull into the driveway. Nicole's car is gone, which isn't unusual. She's been working late a lot lately. I let the dog out in the backyard and go inside to wait for her. That's when I see it. Her laptop, sitting open on the kitchen counter. She must have forgotten it in her rush to get to work this morning. Nicole never forgets her laptop. She guards that thing like it contains state secrets. I tell myself to walk away, to respect her privacy, to be the bigger person. But then I remember the way she looked at me last night, the contempt in her voice when she said I disgusted her, the mysterious text messages and late-night phone calls and business dinners that seem to happen every other day. I walk over to the laptop. The screen is dark, but when I touch the trackpad, it comes to life. No password. She never bothers with passwords at home because she trusts me. Trusted me. Her email is open, and right there at the top of her inbox is a message from someone named Chad Wexler. The subject line reads, "Can't wait for tonight." My finger hovers over the trackpad. This is it. The moment where I either choose to trust my wife or choose to find out why that trust feels so misplaced lately. I click on the message. Nicole, dinner was incredible last night. You were incredible. I keep thinking about what you said about finally being ready to make a change. I know it's complicated with Grant, but you deserve to be happy. You deserve someone who appreciates how amazing you are. Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place, same time. All my love, Chad. I read it twice, 3 times. The words don't change. Chad Wexler. I know that name. Nicole's mentioned him before. Her new boss, the one who got promoted to HR director 6 months ago. The one she's been having all those late-night business meetings with. I scroll down and find her reply. Chad, last night was perfect. You're right, I do deserve to be happy. I've been pretending for so long that I almost forgot what it felt like to be with someone who actually gets me. Grant is comfortable, safe, but I'm tired of safe. I'm ready for something real. See you at 8. I'll tell Grant I'm working late again. He never questions it anymore. I don't think he even cares where I go. I love you too. Nicole. I close the laptop and sit down heavily in one of our kitchen chairs. The same chair where I ate my pathetic leftover dinner while my wife texted her lover. The same chair where I've eaten thousands of meals, where we've had countless conversations about our days, our dreams, our future together. All of it a lie. All of it meaningless. The dog wanders back inside and sits next to my chair, sensing something's wrong. I scratch behind his ears and try to process what I just learned. My wife is having an affair with her boss. And based on those emails, it's not just physical. She's in love with him. She's planning to leave me. I should be angry, furious, ready to throw things and scream and demand answers. Instead, I feel nothing. Just a cold, empty numbness spreading through my chest like anesthesia. I think about all the signs I missed. The new clothes, the expensive perfume, the way she started going to the gym every morning and staying late at the office every night. The way she stopped asking about my day, stopped caring about anything I had to say. The way she looked at me like I was something she needed to scrape off her shoe. It all makes sense now. I hear a car in the driveway. Nicole's home from her work meeting with Chad. I close the laptop and try to arrange my face into something that won't give away what I know. She walks in, looking flushed and happy, her hair slightly messed up, her lipstick gone. "How was your day?" she asks. The same question she's asked me almost every day for 13 years. But now I can hear the guilt underneath it, the way she's overcompensating with fake cheerfulness. Fine, I say. How was yours? Long, really long. We had this client presentation that ran way over, and then my boss, wanted to debrief about how it went. She's not even a good liar. If I hadn't seen those emails, I might have believed her. But now I can see right through her. The slight flush in her cheeks, the way she won't quite meet my eyes, the defensive set of her shoulders. Must have been some presentation, I say. Yeah, it was intense. She heads upstairs without kissing me goodnight, without even looking back. I sit in the kitchen for another hour, petting the dog and trying to decide what to do next. Part of me wants to confront her right now, to throw those emails in her face and demand an explanation. But a bigger part of me, the part that's been trained to stay calm in crisis situations, to think clearly when everything's falling apart, tells me to wait, to plan, to figure out exactly how I want this to play out. Because if Nicole wants to play games, if she wants to treat our marriage like it's disposable, then maybe it's time she learned that actions have consequences. And maybe it's time I stopped being the safe, comfortable husband she's so tired of. The next morning, instead of going straight home after my shift, I drive to Mickey's boxing gym. It's a squat brick building wedged between a pawn shop and a place that sells discount tires. The kind of place that looks like it might collapse if you lean on it too hard. But inside, it's solid, real, the kind of place where people say exactly what they mean and mean exactly what they say. Mickey Iron Dugan owns the place. He's 63 years old, built like a fire hydrant, and has hands like catcher's mitts from 40 years of teaching people how to hit things properly. He took one look at me 3 years ago when I first walked in, soft around the middle, stressed out from work, looking for somewhere to blow off steam, and said, "You look like a man who needs to learn how to fight back." He was right then. He's even more right now. I find him in the back room, wrapping hand wraps around the fists of a kid who can't be more than 16 but moves like he's been boxing since he could walk. "Grant," Mickey says without looking up, "you're early today. Couldn't sleep. Woman troubles?" Mickey has this way of cutting straight to the heart of things. No small talk, no dancing around the issue. It's one of the things I like about him. Something like that. He finishes with the kid, who heads out to the main gym to work the heavy bag. Mickey turns his full attention to me, and I feel like I'm being examined by a particularly shrewd doctor. "You want to talk about it or you want to hit something?" "Both." He nods and starts pulling hand wraps from a drawer. Talk first, hit second. That's the order that makes sense. I tell him everything. The fight with Nicole, the emails, the affair, the way she looked at me like I was something she needed to dispose of. Mickey listens without interrupting, occasionally nodding or grunting, but mostly just letting me get it all out. When I finish, he's quiet for a long moment, working the wraps around my hands with practiced efficiency. "How long you been married?" he asks finally. 13 years. That's a long time to throw away. She's the one throwing it away, not me. Is she? I look at him sharply. What's that supposed to mean? Means maybe you've been throwing it away for a while now, and she just found herself a replacement before making it official. The words sting because there's truth in them. How long has it been since I really tried with Nicole? How long since I brought her flowers for no reason, or planned a surprise date night, or even asked her about her day and actually listened to the answer? But then, I think about those emails, the way she talked about me like I was nothing, the lies, the deception, the complete lack of respect. So it's my fault she's cheating? Didn't say that. Cheating's on her. But marriages don't die overnight, son. They die slow, one little neglect at a time. He finishes with my hands and steps back to look at me. Question is, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. Well, you got 3 choices, way I see it. You can fight for her. Really fight. Not just go through the motions. You can walk away clean, divorce her, start over. Or, he trails off, leaving the third option hanging in the air. Or what? Mickey grins, and it's not a nice expression. It's the grin of a man who's been in more fights than he's lost and knows exactly how satisfying it can be to watch someone who hurt you get what's coming to them. Or you can make sure she understands exactly what she's giving up. What do you mean? Means maybe it's time people saw the real Nicole, not the polished HR manager who pretends to have her life together, the real one, the one who lies to her husband and sleeps with her boss and thinks she's too good for the man who's been keeping her life together for 13 years. I stare at him. You're talking about revenge. I'm talking about truth. Sometimes they're the same thing. He leads me out to the main gym, where the heavy bags hang like enormous punching bags waiting for punishment. The place smells like sweat and leather and determination. It's honest work happening here. People pushing themselves, testing their limits, learning how to take a hit and keep moving forward. Show me what you got, Mickey says. I start slow, working combinations he taught me years ago. Jab, cross, hook. Basic stuff. But as I think about Nicole's emails, about the way she laughed when she called me a taxi driver, about the contempt in her voice when she said I disgusted her, my punches get harder, faster, more focused. There you go, Mickey says. Let it out. I hit the bag like it owes me money. Like it's every lie Nicole ever told me, every time she made me feel small, every moment she made me question whether I was good enough for her. You know what your problem is? Mickey asks after I've been working for 20 minutes and I'm breathing hard, sweat dripping down my face. What? You've been playing defense your whole marriage, trying to keep her happy, trying to be what she wants, trying to fix whatever's wrong. But you can't win a fight just playing defense. So what do? You go on offense. You stop reacting to what she does and start making her react to what you do. I think about that while I work the speed bag, the rhythmic thump, thump, thump helping me focus. What would going on offense look like? What would it mean to stop being the safe, comfortable husband and start being something else? Something she couldn't ignore, something she couldn't dismiss, something she couldn't look at with contempt. Mickey, I say after I've cooled down and we're sitting on the bench outside the gym, sharing a beer and watching traffic go by. Yeah? If someone wanted to find out more about their wife's affair, like really detailed information, how would they go about that? Mickey is quiet for a moment, peeling the label off his beer bottle. Hypothetically? Hypothetically, I might know a guy who used to be a private investigator before he retired. Guy named Trevor. Likes to talk, likes to help people, likes to dig up information that people thought they had buried. And where might someone find this Trevor? He comes in here Tuesday and Thursday evenings, works the speed bag like his life depends on it, drives a beat-up Honda with more bumper stickers than paint. I nod and finish my beer. Thanks, Mickey. For what? For reminding me that I don't have to take this lying down. Mickey claps me on the shoulder with one of his massive hands. Son, there's a difference between being a good man and being a doormat. Took me 63 years to figure that out. Don't take you that long. I drive home feeling different. Not better exactly, but different. Like something inside me has shifted. Some fundamental change in how I see myself and my situation. Nicole's car is in the driveway when I get home, but the house is quiet. I find her in the living room, laptop open, typing away. She barely glances up when I walk in. How was work? She asks, the same automatic question. Educational, I say. She doesn't ask what I mean, doesn't seem to care. Just keeps typing, probably planning her next rendezvous with Chad. I watch her for a moment, really watch her. Taking in the way she's completely absorbed in whatever she's doing, the way she's managed to make me invisible in my own home. Nicole, I say. We need to talk. Now she looks up, and I see a flicker of something in her eyes. Annoyance? Fear? Hard to tell. About what? About us. about what's happening to our marriage. She closes the laptop and gives me her full attention for the first time in months. But it's not the kind of attention I want. It's the kind you give to a problem you need to solve. Grant, we talked about this yesterday. Some things can't be fixed. Can't be fixed, or you don't want to fix them? She sighs like I'm being deliberately difficult. Does it matter? The result is the same. It matters to me. Why? So you can spend the next 6 months trying to change my mind? So you can promise to be different and then go right back to being exactly who you've always been? The words hit hard because they're not entirely wrong. How many times have we had versions of this conversation? How many times have I promised to try harder, be better, pay more attention, only to slip back into old patterns after a few weeks? But this time is different. This time, I know about Chad. What if I really could change, I ask? What if I could be the kind of man you actually want to be married to? She looks at me for a long moment, and I see something I haven't seen in her eyes for a long time. Not love, not even hope, but curiosity. What kind of man is that, Grant? You tell me. She's quiet for so long I think she's not going to answer. Then she says, someone who takes charge. Someone who doesn't just drift through life waiting for things to happen to him. Someone who makes things happen. Someone like Chad? The words are out before I can stop them. Nicole's face goes white, then red. What did you say? Nothing. Forget I said anything. But it's too late. The name is hanging in the air between us like a loaded gun. How do you know about Chad? I could lie. Could pretend it was just a lucky guess. Could give her a chance to come clean, to confess, to try to work things out. Instead, I smile. It's not a nice smile. Lucky guess. She stares at me, trying to figure out how much I know, how much trouble she's in. Grant, I can explain. Can you? Can you explain why my wife is having an affair with her boss? Can you explain why you've been lying to me for months? Can you explain why you made me feel like garbage for being exactly the man you married? She doesn't answer, just sits there looking like a deer caught in headlights. Here's what's going to happen, I say, and my voice is calm, controlled. Mickey would be proud. You're going to end it with Chad. You're going to quit your job. And you're going to spend the next year proving to me that our marriage means something to you. You can't be serious. Absolutely serious. I'm not quitting my job. I'm not ending anything. And I'm sure as hell not spending a year trying to convince you that I want to stay married to someone who... Someone who what, Nicole? Someone who loves you? Someone who's been faithful to you for 13 years? Someone who's worked his ass off to give you a good life? She stands up, and now she's angry. Good. Angry is honest. Someone who's boring. Someone who has no ambition, no drive, no passion for anything except showing up and doing the same job day after day after day. You mean someone who's not Chad? Yes, someone who's not Chad. Chad has goals. Chad has plans. Chad makes me feel alive instead of like I'm slowly dying of boredom. The words hang in the air between us. Finally, the truth. I nod slowly. Okay then. Okay then what? Okay then I guess we both know where we stand. I walk toward the stairs, then pause and look back at her. By the way, Nicole, you might want to be more careful with your laptop. You never know who might be reading your email. I leave her standing in the living room, probably trying to figure out exactly how much I know and exactly how much trouble she's in. But she has no idea what's coming. Not yet. Tuesday evening, I'm back at Mickey's gym, working the heavy bag and keeping one eye on the door. At exactly 7:30, a beat-up Honda Civic pulls into the parking lot. The car is more rust than paint, and it's covered with bumper stickers. Coexist. Question everything. My other car is a UFO, and about 20 others I can't read from this distance. Trevor Morrison looks exactly like I expected, and nothing like I expected at the same time. He's maybe 55, tall and thin, with wild gray hair and thick glasses held together with electrical tape. He's wearing a faded t-shirt that says, "I want to believe," and cargo shorts with more pockets than any human could possibly need. He also moves like a man who knows how to handle himself. "You must be Grant," he says, walking up to me while I'm unwrapping my hands. "Mickey said you might want to chat." "Maybe. Depends on what kind of chatting you do." Trevor grins. "The kind that costs $200 a day plus expenses and results in people knowing things they didn't know before." "And if someone hypothetically wanted to know more about their spouse's extracurricular activities?" "Hypothetically, that would be a very common request. Hypothetically, I'd need some basic information. Where she works, what kind of car she drives, her usual schedule. And hypothetically, I'd have some very interesting information within 48 hours. I like Trevor immediately. He's straightforward without being pushy, professional without being cold, and he doesn't seem to judge me for wanting to know the truth about my own marriage. "How much detail are we talking about?" "Depends on what you want to know. Dates, times, locations, photographs. All of that's pretty standard. If you want more than that, it gets more complicated." "More than that?" "Financial records, phone logs, email accounts, social media activity. The kind of stuff that paints a complete picture of what someone's been up to and who they've been doing it with." I think about Nicole's laptop, sitting open on our kitchen counter. About the emails I've already seen and the ones I probably haven't. Let's say someone wanted the complete picture. Complete picture runs about $500 up front, another $500 when I deliver the goods. But Grant? He leans closer, and his voice drops. "If your wife is cheating, and you're thinking about divorce, this is the best money you'll ever spend. Judges love documentation." "I'm not thinking about divorce." "No? What are you thinking about?" That's the question, isn't it? What am I thinking about? What's the end game here? "I'm thinking about truth," I say finally. "I'm thinking about consequences." Trevor nods like he understands exactly what I mean. Truth and consequences. Yeah, I can work with that. We shake hands, and I give him the basic information he needs. Nicole's full name, her work address, her car make and model, her usual schedule. He takes notes in a small notebook that looks like it's been through a war. "One more thing," he says as we're wrapping up. "You sure you want to know what I'm going to find out? Because once you know, you can't unknow it. And sometimes the truth is uglier than people expect." I already know she's having an affair. Yeah, but there's knowing and then there's knowing. There's suspecting your wife is cheating, and then there's seeing time-stamped photographs of her in a hotel room with her boss. There's reading flirty emails, and then there's seeing bank records that show she's been spending your money on lingerie and dinners for two. He's right, and I know it. But I've come this far. I need to know. Okay then, give me 48 hours. I spend those 48 hours in a strange state of suspended animation. I go to work, do my job, come home, make small talk with Nicole. But it's like I'm watching everything from outside myself, like I'm playing a role in a movie about my own life. Nicole, for her part, seems nervous. She's more attentive than she's been in months, asking about my day, offering to cook dinner, even suggesting we watch a movie together. I think she's trying to figure out how much I know and whether she can smooth things over before they get out of hand. If she only knew. Thursday evening, Trevor calls. "You free to meet tonight? I've got what you asked for." "How bad is it?" "Bad enough. Mickey's gym, 9 o'clock? I get there early and find Trevor already waiting in the parking lot, smoking a cigarette and looking like a man who's seen too much of the world's ugliness. "You want the summary or the full report?" he asks. "Summary first. Your wife has been having an affair with Chad Wexler for approximately 4 months. They meet twice a week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, at the Riverside Inn on Highway 9. She's been using a credit card you probably don't know about to pay for hotel rooms, dinners, and what I'm guessing are some very interesting purchases from Victoria's Secret. The Riverside Inn. The same place I stayed 2 nights ago when I couldn't stand to be in the same house with her. What else? She's been telling people at work that you two are having problems, that you're boring, that you don't understand her, that she's thinking about leaving you. Her friend Samantha Greer has been encouraging the affair, telling Nicole she deserves to be happy. Samantha, Nicole's best friend since college. I've known her almost as long as I've known Nicole. We've been to her wedding, her housewarming party, her kids' birthday parties. There's more, Trevor continues. Chad Wexler is married, has been for 8 years. His wife's name is Jennifer, and she has no idea what her husband's been up to. They've got 2 kids, ages 6 and 4. That stops me cold. I knew Chad was married. Nicole had mentioned it in passing, but somehow I'd managed to not think about his wife, his kids, his family that's about to be destroyed by this affair. How do you know his wife doesn't know? Because I talked to her. You what? Relax. I didn't tell her anything, just struck up a conversation at the grocery store, mentioned that I knew Chad from work, which is technically true since investigating him counts as work. She spent 10 minutes telling me what a wonderful husband he is, how lucky she feels to be married to such a dedicated family man. Trevor drops his cigarette and crushes it under his heel. You ready for the full report? He hands me a manila envelope thick with papers and photographs. I don't open it immediately. What's in here? Everything. Dates, times, locations, photographs, financial records, email printouts, text message logs. Enough evidence to end 2 marriages and probably get Chad fired, since most companies frown on supervisors sleeping with their direct reports. I hold the envelope and try to process what I'm holding. The complete destruction of my marriage, documented in black and white. Proof that the woman I've loved for 13 years has been systematically lying to me, cheating on me, and planning to leave me. You okay? Trevor asks. I don't know. Look, Grant, I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen a lot of marriages end, and I've seen a lot of people get their revenge. But I've also seen people who thought they wanted revenge realize that it wasn't going to make them feel any better. What are you saying? I'm saying you've got choices. You can use this information to destroy Nicole and Chad, and believe me, this would destroy them. Chad would lose his job, his wife would leave him, Nicole would be humiliated. Or you can use it as leverage to get a clean divorce with a favorable settlement. Or you can confront them privately and try to work something out. What would you do? Trevor is quiet for a long moment. Honestly, I'd burn them both to the ground. But I'm a bitter old man who's been divorced 3 times. You're not me. I tuck the envelope under my arm and shake Trevor's hand. Thanks for this. You sure you don't want to think about it for a few days before you do anything? I've been thinking about it for months. I just didn't know what I was thinking about. I drive home with the envelope on the passenger seat, feeling like I'm carrying a bomb that could go off at any moment. And maybe I am. The house is dark when I get home. Nicole's car is gone, probably meeting Chad at the Riverside Inn, just like Trevor said. I sit in my kitchen and open the envelope. The first thing I see is a photograph of Nicole and Chad kissing in the parking lot of the Riverside Inn. She's wearing a dress I bought her for her birthday last year. He's got his hands on her waist, and she's smiling like she's the happiest woman in the world. I've never seen her smile at me like that. There are more photographs. Nicole and Chad holding hands as they walk into the hotel. Chad opening the car door for her. Nicole laughing at something he said. Then there are the financial records. The credit card I didn't know about, with charges for hotel rooms, expensive dinners, lingerie, jewelry. All of it paid for with money from our joint savings account. Money I thought we were saving for a vacation, or home improvements, or our future. The text messages are the worst part. Pages and pages of them, printed out in chronological order. Nicole telling Chad how much she loves him, how she can't wait to start their life together, how she's planning to ask me for a divorce as soon as she figures out the best way to do it. Chad telling her how beautiful she is, how much better she deserves than being married to some ambulance driver, how he's going to take care of her once she's free. There's one text from Nicole that makes me see red. Grant is so pathetic. He has no idea what's happening right under his nose. Sometimes I think it would be kinder to just put him out of his misery. But I need to be smart about this. I want the house, and I want alimony. Let him keep thinking we're just going through a rough patch for a few more months. I read that text 5 times. Each time, it gets worse. She's not just cheating on me. She's not just planning to leave me. She's planning to destroy me financially while she does it. She wants to take everything I've worked for and give it to her and Chad so they can start their new life together, all while pretending to be the victim of a loveless marriage. I close the envelope and sit in my dark kitchen for a long time, thinking about choices and consequences and the difference between being a good man and being a fool. By the time Nicole comes home at 11:30, smelling like expensive cologne and looking satisfied with herself, I've made my decision. "How was work?" I ask when she walks in. "Long," she says, not meeting my eyes. "Really long." I bet it was. She looks at me sharply, trying to read my tone. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just that you've been working so hard lately. All those late meetings and client dinners and team-building exercises. Someone has to pay the bills around here." I nod and smile. It's not a nice smile. "You're absolutely right, Nicole. Someone does have to pay the bills." She heads upstairs without saying goodnight, and I sit in the kitchen making plans. Tomorrow, everything changes. Friday morning, I call in sick to work. It's the first sick day I've taken in 2 years, and Tommy sounds genuinely concerned when I tell him I'm not feeling well. "You need anything?" he asks. "I can swing by after shift, bring you some soup or something." "Thanks, but I'm good. Just need to rest." What I need is time to set everything in motion. My first call is to a divorce attorney named Patricia Wells. Trevor recommended her, said she's smart, tough, and doesn't believe in playing fair when the other side started the fight. "Mr. Fowler," she says after I've explained the situation, "you have an excellent case. Adultery, financial deception, planning to defraud you in the divorce proceedings. A judge is going to take a very dim view of your wife's behavior. What are my options? We can file for divorce immediately, seek an emergency injunction to freeze your joint accounts, and use this evidence to argue for a favorable settlement. Given what you've shown me, I'd say you're looking at keeping the house, keeping your retirement accounts, and possibly even getting alimony from her. How long would that take? 6 months, maybe 8. Depends on whether she wants to fight it or just wants it over with. I think about Nicole's text messages, her plans to take me for everything I'm worth. She'll fight. Then we'll be ready for her. My second call is to Chad Wexler's wife, Jennifer. This one is harder. "Mrs. Wexler, you don't know me, but my name is Grant Fowler, and I need to talk to you about your husband." There's a long pause. "What about my husband?" "I think we should meet in person. There are some things you need to know." "What kind of things?" "The kind that are better discussed face to face." Another pause. "Is Chad in some kind of trouble?" "Yes, ma'am. I'm afraid he is." We agree to meet at a coffee shop downtown at 2 o'clock. I spend the morning organizing Trevor's evidence, making copies, preparing for what's going to be the most difficult conversation I've ever had with a stranger. Jennifer Wexler is younger than I expected, maybe 32 or 33, with blonde hair and the kind of tired eyes that come from raising 2 young children. She's pretty in a wholesome suburban mom way, and she looks at me with curiosity and growing concern as I sit down across from her. "Mr. Fowler? What's this about?" I slide a manila envelope across the table. "I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but your husband is having an affair with my wife." The color drains from her face. "That's impossible." "I wish it was." She opens the envelope and starts looking through the photographs. I watch her face as she processes what she's seeing. Her husband kissing another woman, holding another woman, walking into a hotel with another woman. When? She asks, and her voice is barely a whisper. About 4 months, twice a week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays. He said he was working late, said they were having budget meetings. I'm sorry. She keeps looking through the photographs, and I see the exact moment when shock turns to anger. Who is she? Her name is Nicole. She works for Chad at Meridian Corporate Solutions. His subordinate? Yes. Jennifer laughs, but it's not a happy sound. Of course she is. Of course he's sleeping with someone who works for him. God, I'm such an idiot. You're not an idiot. You trusted your husband. That's what you're supposed to do. Is it? Because right now it feels pretty stupid. She closes the envelope and looks at me directly for the first time since I showed her the photographs. What do you want from me? Nothing. I just thought you deserved to know. Bullshit. Nobody drops a bomb like this without wanting something in return. What is it? I like Jennifer Wexler. She's smart, direct, and she doesn't fall apart when her world gets turned upside down. Chad is an idiot for cheating on her. Okay, you're right. I want Chad to face consequences for what he's done. And I want Nicole to understand that actions have repercussions. What kind of consequences? The kind that happen when a married HR director gets caught sleeping with his subordinate. The kind that happen when someone's wife finds out they've been lying and cheating and spending family money on hotel rooms. Jennifer nods slowly. You want to destroy them. I want them to experience the same humiliation and betrayal they've put us through. And you think I can help with that? I think you have every right to make Chad's life as difficult as he's made yours. She's quiet for a long moment, staring out the window at the traffic passing by. We have 2 kids, she says finally. Emma's 6, Michael's 4. They worship their father. If this comes out, if Chad loses his job, if we get divorced, I know. And I'm sorry. But Jennifer, they're going to find out eventually anyway. Nicole is planning to ask me for a divorce. She wants to marry Chad. This isn't some fling that's going to burn out. They're planning a future together. At our expense. At our expense. She opens the envelope again and pulls out one of the photographs. Chad and Nicole kissing in the hotel parking lot. He bought her jewelry, she says, looking at a receipt. A necklace that cost $800. We can't afford an $800 necklace for me, but he can buy one for his girlfriend. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. It's not your fault. She puts the photograph back in the envelope. What do you want me to do? Monday morning, file a complaint with Chad's company. HR directors aren't supposed to sleep with their employees. It's a firing offense at most companies. Then file for divorce and make sure everyone knows why. And what are you going to do? I'm going to make sure Nicole understands exactly what she's throwing away. Jennifer extends her hand across the table. Partners? Partners. We shake on it. 2 people whose spouses decided they were disposable, deciding to prove them wrong. That evening, I'm waiting in the living room when Nicole comes home from her late meeting with Chad. She looks happy, relaxed, probably planning their weekend together while I'm supposedly working. How are you feeling? She asks. I heard you called in sick. Much better, thanks. Actually, I had a really productive day. Oh? What did you do? I pull out Trevor's envelope and set it on the coffee table between us. I learned some interesting things about my wife. Nicole stares at the envelope like it's a snake that might bite her. What is that? Why don't you open it and find out? Her hands are shaking as she opens the envelope and starts looking through the contents. I watch her face go through the same progression I've seen twice now. Confusion, recognition, shock, and finally, fear. Grant, I can explain. Can you? Can you explain why you've been lying to me for 4 months? Can you explain why you've been stealing money from our savings account to pay for hotel rooms with your boss? Can you explain this? I pull out the text message where she called me pathetic and talked about putting me out of my misery. Nicole reads it and closes her eyes. You weren't supposed to see that. I wasn't supposed to see any of it. That was the point, right? Keep the stupid husband in the dark while you plan to take him for everything he's worth? It's not like that. It's exactly like that. I stand up and start pacing. You know what the funny thing is, Nicole? If you had just asked me for a divorce, I would have said yes. If you had been honest with me, told me you weren't happy, told me you wanted out, I would have let you go. Would you? Yes, because I love you, and I want you to be happy. But that's not what you did, is it? You decided to humiliate me instead. You decided to cheat and lie and steal, and then you were going to divorce me and take everything I've worked for. Nicole sits down heavily on the couch, still holding the photographs. What do you want, Grant? I want you to understand that there are consequences for what you've done. What kind of consequences? The kind where Chad's wife knows about the affair. The kind where his company knows he's been sleeping with his subordinate. The kind where everyone in your office knows exactly what kind of person you really are. Her face goes white. You told Jennifer? I showed Jennifer. She deserved to know what her husband was doing with our money and our marriage vows. Oh God, Chad is going to eliminate me. Chad is going to have bigger problems than being angry at you. Like explaining to his kids why Daddy doesn't live with them anymore. Nicole starts crying, but they're not tears of remorse. They're tears of panic, the kind you cry when you realize you've been caught and there's no way out. Please, Grant, please don't do this. I'll end it with Chad. I'll quit my job. I'll do whatever you want. Now you'll do whatever I want. Now that you're caught, now that there are consequences, now you're ready to work on our marriage? Yes, I made a mistake, okay? I made a terrible mistake, but we can fix this. I look at her sitting on our couch, crying and begging and promising things she should have promised months ago, and I feel nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no sadness. Just emptiness. No, Nicole, we can't fix this. Why not? Because you didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Hundreds of choices. Every time you lied to me, every time you met him at that hotel, every time you spent our money on your affair, those were all choices. People make bad choices all the time. That doesn't mean... And every time you looked at me like I was garbage. Every time you made me feel like I wasn't good enough for you. Every time you planned how you were going to destroy my life. Those were choices too. I pick up the envelope and head toward the stairs. Where are you going? To pack. I'm staying at a hotel until you find somewhere else to live. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. It's my house. I bought it before we got married, remember? My name is on the deed. And according to my lawyer, since you committed adultery and financial fraud, I get to keep it. Your lawyer? Patricia Wells. You'll be hearing from her Monday morning, right around the same time Chad hears from his company's ethics board. I'm halfway up the stairs when Nicole calls after me. Grant, please, I love you. I stop and look back at her. No, you don't. You love the idea of not having to face consequences for what you've done, but it's too late for that. What's happened to you? You're not the man I married. She's right about that. The man she married would have forgiven her, would have tried to work things out, would have let her walk all over him in the name of saving their marriage. But that man is gone. The man you married was a fool, I say. Lucky for me, I got over it. Monday morning arrives like a storm front, and I'm ready for it. I'm back at work, back to my normal routine, but everything feels different. Tommy notices immediately. You look better, he says as we're checking our equipment. Whatever bug you had, looks like you kicked it. Something like that. Nicole feeling better too? She looked pretty rough when I saw her at the grocery store yesterday. We're separated. Tommy stops what he's doing and looks at me. Shit, man, I'm sorry. You want to talk about it? Not much to talk about. She was cheating, I found out. Now we're getting divorced. Damn. How long? 4 months that I know of. With who? Her boss. Tommy shakes his head. That's cold, brother. That's really cold. We spend the day running calls, and the routine helps keep my mind off what's happening at Meridian Corporate Solutions. But at 3 o'clock, my phone buzzes with a text from Jennifer Wexler. It's done. Filed the complaint this morning. Chad's been suspended pending investigation. He knows I know. I text back, "How are you holding up? Better than expected. Turns out I'm angrier than I am sad. That's probably healthy. My lawyer says I should thank you. Apparently, catching him in the act makes everything much easier. Happy to help. Chad tried to call me 6 times today. I let it go to voicemail. Want to hear what he said? Not particularly, but I'm guessing he's not taking responsibility. He says it's all Nicole's fault. Says she seduced him, that he was trying to end it, that he never meant for it to go this far. I'm not surprised. Men like Chad always blame someone else when they get caught. Are you buying it? Hell no. He's a grown man who made grown man choices. Now he gets to live with grown man consequences. I like Jennifer more every time I talk to her. At 5:30, I get a call from Patricia Wells. "Grant, we need to talk. Can you come to my office?" "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Everything's going exactly right. But Nicole's lawyer called and they want to negotiate." I drive to Patricia's office feeling like I'm heading into battle, which I suppose I am. Patricia Wells is exactly what I expected from Trevor's description. Mid-40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes, and the kind of smile that suggests she enjoys her work a little too much. "Nicole hired David Brennan," she says without preamble. "He's good, but he's not miracle worker, and he knows his client is screwed." "What are they offering?" "No-fault divorce, 50-50 split of assets, no alimony either way." "And what are we asking for?" "Everything. The house, your retirement accounts, your savings, and alimony from her for 3 years. "Can we get that?" Patricia's smile gets wider. "With the evidence you provided, we can get whatever we want. Nicole committed adultery, financial fraud, and was planning to defraud you in divorce proceedings. No judge in the state is going to be sympathetic to her." "What about Chad? What about him? What's happening to him?" "Well, according to my sources at Meridian, he's been fired. Sleeping with subordinates violates their ethics policy, and using company resources for personal business, like booking hotel rooms on his corporate card, violates their financial policies. He's also being sued by his wife for alienation of affection. Is that a real thing? In this state, absolutely, and Jennifer has an excellent case. I lean back in my chair and try to process everything that's happening. A week ago, I was a cuckolded husband living in ignorance. Now I'm watching my wife's life fall apart in real time. "How do you feel about all this?" Patricia asks. "I don't know. I thought I'd feel more satisfied. Revenge is funny that way. People think it's going to make them feel better, but mostly it just makes them feel empty." "Are you trying to talk me out of this?" "God, no. I'm just managing your expectations. Your wife screwed you over and now she's facing consequences. That's justice, not revenge. But justice doesn't heal the hurt she caused. So what does? Time. And building a better life than the one she destroyed." My phone buzzes. It's a text from Nicole. "Please call me. We need to talk." I show the message to Patricia. "Don't," she says immediately. "Anything you say to her can be used against you later. Let the lawyers handle it." "What if she wants to apologize?" "Then she can apologize to the judge." I drive home, to my house, which feels weird to think about, and find Nicole's car in the driveway. She's supposed to be staying at her sister's place until she finds an apartment, but apparently she's decided to break that agreement. I find her in the kitchen, sitting at our table with a bottle of wine that's half empty. She looks terrible, red eyes, messy hair, wearing the same clothes she had on yesterday. "We need to talk," she says when I walk in. "No, we don't." My lawyer was very clear about that. "Grant, please, just 5 minutes." Against my better judgment, I sit down across from her. The same table where we used to eat breakfast together, where we planned vacations and discussed our dreams and talked about having kids someday. Chad's gone, she says. I heard. He got fired. Jennifer filed for divorce. He's staying at some extended stay motel, and he won't return my calls. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Are you really sorry? Or are you happy that you destroyed his life? I didn't destroy his life, Nicole. He destroyed his life. You both did. She takes a sip of wine and stares at me with bloodshot eyes. You know what's funny? Chad said you'd never find out. He said you were too trusting, too naive, too nice to ever suspect anything. He was right, up until last week. What changed? I think about that question. What did change? When did I stop being the trusting, naive, nice guy who let people walk all over him? You did, I say finally. When you told me I disgusted you. When you said you'd rather kiss the dog than me. That's when I realized that being nice wasn't getting me anywhere. I didn't mean that. Yes, you did. And you know what? You were right. The old Grant was disgusting. He was pathetic. He let his wife cheat on him for months and never said a word. He worked his ass off to provide for someone who had nothing but contempt for him. That's not true, isn't it? You called me pathetic in your text messages to Chad. You said it would be kinder to put me out of my misery. You planned to divorce me and take everything I've worked for. Tell me how that's not contempt. Nicole starts crying again, but this time they look like real tears. Not panic tears or manipulation tears, but genuine remorse. I was angry, she says. I felt trapped. I felt like my life was passing me by, and I blamed you for that. Why? Because you were satisfied with ordinary. You were happy with your job, happy with our house, happy with our routine, and I wanted more. More what? More excitement, more passion, more everything. And Chad gave you that? For a while. He made me feel special, important, like I was worth taking risks for. And I didn't? She's quiet for a long moment. You made me feel safe, but I didn't want safe anymore. I nod, and for the first time since this whole thing started, I think I understand. Nicole, if you had told me that, if you had said you were unhappy, that you needed more excitement or passion or whatever, I would have tried to give that to you. Would you? I don't know. Maybe. But you never gave me the chance. You just decided I wasn't enough and went looking for someone who was. I know. I know that was wrong. It wasn't just wrong. It was cruel. You made me feel like I was the problem, like I was the reason our marriage was failing, when really you had already checked out. She reaches across the table and tries to take my hand. I pull away. Grant, I want to fix this. I want to try again. It's too late for that. Why? Because of what I did with Chad. People recover from affairs all the time. Not because of Chad. Because of what you said about me. Because of how you looked at me. Because you spent months planning to destroy my life while pretending to be my wife. I wasn't planning to destroy your life. You were planning to take my house, my savings, and half my retirement while claiming I was an abusive husband who made your life miserable. What would you call that? She doesn't have an answer for that. I called David Brennan, she says finally. He says you're asking for everything. That's right. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I stand up, and for a moment, I think I might lose control completely. Fair would have been you asking for a divorce before you started sleeping with your boss. Fair would have been you being honest with me instead of making me think I was going crazy. Fair would have been you treating me with basic human respect instead of like garbage. I know. But taking everything? Leaving me with nothing? How is that fair? Because you were planning to do the same thing to me. That was different. How? Because... She can't finish the sentence because there is no difference. She was planning to destroy me financially and emotionally, and now she's upset that I'm doing it to her first. Nicole, I want you out of my house by Friday. If you're not gone, I'll have the sheriff remove you. Where am I supposed to go? I don't know. That's not my problem anymore. Grant, please, I'm begging you. Don't do this. I look at her sitting at our kitchen table, crying and begging and promising things she should have promised months ago, and I feel that same emptiness Patricia warned me about. This isn't making me feel better. It's not healing the hurt or fixing what she broke. It's just ending things. But sometimes ending things is enough. Goodbye, Nicole. I walk out of my own kitchen and leave her sitting there with her wine and her tears and her consequences. 3 months later, I'm sitting in Mickey's gym after a workout, drinking a beer and watching the evening news, when I see a familiar face on the screen. Chad Wexler is being led out of the Meridian Corporate Solutions building in handcuffs. Turn that up, I tell Mickey. Arrested today on charges of embezzlement and fraud. According to prosecutors, Wexler used his position as HR director to steal over $200,000 from the company's employee benefits fund. The scheme apparently came to light during an internal investigation triggered by his recent firing for ethics violations. Mickey whistles low. That's your wife's boyfriend? Ex-wife's ex-boyfriend. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. Nicole got her car, her clothes, and enough money to rent a small apartment across town. I got everything else, plus 3 years of alimony payments from her. She's working at a call center now, making about a third of what she used to make at Meridian. Turns out, when you get fired for sleeping with your boss, other companies in the same industry are reluctant to hire you. Embezzlement, Mickey says, shaking his head. That's serious time. Good. You don't sound happy about it. I'm not unhappy about it. But you're not happy either. Mickey's right. I should be celebrating. Chad destroyed my marriage, humiliated me, and was planning to steal my wife and my money. Now he's looking at 5 to 10 years in federal prison, and his life is completely ruined. But all I feel is tired. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Jennifer Wexler. Did you see the news? Just saw it. How are you doing? Better than expected. The kids are asking questions, but they're resilient. And you? I'm good. Really good. Turns out being divorced from a cheating embezzler is a lot better than being married to one. I smile at that. Jennifer landed on her feet. She got a good settlement in the divorce, found a better job, and seems genuinely happy for the first time since I've known her. Want to grab coffee sometime? As friends? I stare at the text for a long moment. Jennifer is smart, funny, attractive, and we've been through something together that most people couldn't understand. In another time, another situation, I might be interested. But I'm not ready. Maybe I never will be. Rain check? I'm still figuring things out. Of course. The offer stands whenever you're ready. I put my phone away and finish my beer. Mickey's watching me with that look he gets when he's about to say something I don't want to hear. What? You know this doesn't fix anything, right? What doesn't fix anything? All of this. The divorce, the revenge, watching your enemies get what's coming to them. None of it fixes what she did to you. I know that. Do you? Because you've been walking around for 3 months like a man who's waiting for something to happen, like you're waiting to feel better, or waiting for some kind of closure, or waiting for the hurt to go away. Maybe I am. Well, stop waiting. It's not coming. I look at him. What's not coming? The feeling that it was all worth it. The satisfaction. The sense that justice was served and now you can move on with your life. So what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to move on anyway. You're supposed to build a life that's better than the one she destroyed, not because it proves anything to her, but because you deserve it. I don't know how to do that. Same way you learned how to fight. One day at a time, one punch at a time, until it becomes natural. Mickey finishes his beer and stands up. Grant, you want some advice from an old man who's made every mistake you can make with women? Sure. Stop defining yourself by what Nicole did to you. Stop being the guy whose wife cheated on him. Start being the guy who survived it and came out stronger. How do I do that? By living your life, instead of just reacting to hers. I think about that as I drive home to my empty house. Mickey's right. I have been reacting instead of living. For 3 months, everything I've done has been about Nicole and Chad and making them pay for what they did to me. But what do I want for myself? What kind of life do I want to build? I pull into my driveway and sit in the truck for a moment, looking at my house. It's a good house, solid, well-built, in a nice neighborhood. But it feels like a museum now, full of memories I don't want and emptiness I can't fill. Maybe it's time to sell it. Maybe it's time to start over somewhere new, somewhere that doesn't remind me of 13 years of marriage that ended in betrayal and divorce. Or maybe it's time to make new memories in the old house, fill it with different furniture, different routines, different possibilities. I'm still sitting in my truck, thinking about possibilities, when another car pulls into my driveway. It's Nicole's little Honda, the one she got in the divorce settlement. She gets out and walks over to my truck. She looks different, thinner, older, tired in a way that goes deeper than just being sleepy. 3 months of consequences have aged her. I roll down my window. What do you want, Nicole? I saw the news about Chad. And I wanted to say, I'm sorry. For what? For all of it. For the affair, for the lies, for what I put you through, for what I was planning to do to you. I study her face, looking for signs that this is another manipulation, another attempt to get something from me. But she just looks tired and sad, and genuinely remorseful. Okay, I say. Okay? Okay, I accept your apology. She seems surprised by that. You do? Yeah, it doesn't change anything, but I accept it. I know it doesn't change anything. I know I can't undo what I did, but I needed you to know that I'm sorry. Now I know. She nods and takes a step back from the truck. Grant? Yeah? For what it's worth, you're a good man. You deserved better than what I gave you. Yeah, I did. She gets back in her car and drives away, and I sit in my driveway thinking about apologies and forgiveness and the difference between the two. I forgave Nicole months ago, not because she deserved it, but because carrying that anger was poisoning me from the inside. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean letting her back into my life. It just means I'm done letting her control how I feel. I get out of my truck and walk into my house. The dog, who's been staying with Mickey during the day while I work, greets me at the door with his usual enthusiasm. At least somebody's happy to see me. I feed him, pour myself a beer, and sit down at my kitchen table with a legal pad and a pen. At the top of the page I write, what I want. It's a short list. 1. To be happy. 2. To feel useful. 3. To build something that matters. 4. To stop being defined by what Nicole did to me. I stare at the list for a long time, thinking about how to turn those wants into reality. The next morning I call Tommy. You still thinking about starting that private ambulance service? I ask. Every day. Why? I'm in, if you want a partner. Seriously? Seriously, I've got some money from the divorce settlement, and I'm tired of working for other people. Grant, that's amazing. When do you want to start? How about today? We spend the next 6 months building Riverside Emergency Services from the ground up. It's hard work, harder than anything I've ever done, but it's good work. We're not just showing up and doing a job. We're building something that matters, something that helps people, something that's ours. By the end of the year, we have 3 ambulances, 6 employees, and contracts with 2 hospitals. We're making money, helping people, and I'm happier than I've been in years. I also start dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee dates and dinner dates and the occasional movie. I'm not ready for anything serious, but I'm ready to remember what it feels like to have a conversation with a woman who actually wants to be there. One evening, I'm having dinner with a nurse named Sarah from the hospital when she asks me about my divorce. It must have been difficult, she says. It was. But it was also the best thing that ever happened to me. How so? It forced me to figure out who I really am instead of who I thought I was supposed to be. And who are you? I think about that question. 6 months ago, I would have said I was Nicole's ex-husband, or the guy whose wife cheated on him, or the man who got his revenge. I'm Grant Fowler, I say. I'm a paramedic, a business owner, and a man who's building a life he's proud of. That's a good answer. It's an honest answer. Later that night, I'm sitting on my back porch with the dog, looking up at the stars and thinking about how much my life has changed in the past year. Nicole is working at her call center, living in her small apartment, probably still dealing with the consequences of her choices. Chad is in federal prison, serving a 7-year sentence for embezzlement. Jennifer has remarried, a guy she met at her kid's school who treats her like she deserves to be treated. And I'm here, in my house, with my business and my possibilities and my future stretching out in front of me like an open road. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Mickey. How you doing, son? Good. Really good. Proud of you. You know that, right? Thanks. For everything. What are friends for? I put my phone away and scratch the dog behind the ears. He looks up at me with those loyal, trusting eyes that remind me every day what real love looks like. You know what, boy? I say to him. I think we're going to be just fine. He wags his tail in agreement, and we sit together in comfortable silence, watching the stars and planning tomorrow. Nicole thought she was trading up when she chose Chad over me. She thought she was getting someone more exciting, more successful, more worthy of her time and attention. Instead, she traded a man who would have loved her forever for a criminal who abandoned her the moment things got difficult. She traded a stable, honest life for chaos and consequences and the kind of regret that follows you everywhere. But that's her story to live with, not mine. My story is just beginning.